Yeah, let's. Can we talk about Desiree Doué because it looks like we're going to get it done for 33 million. Does anyone know who that is?
It sounds like an Australian
No,
toy.
he's well, it looks like we're going with Project Youth, with Bergval, with
How do I spell? Hang on a minute. How do I spell his name?
Doue. His name, his surname.
Doue.
Yeah, his first name's Desire. Desire.
19 years of age.
Isn't the did you redo that thing that the music?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one them, man.
What's your
name them after an instrument?
What's everyone's thoughts on us going for like 4 18-year-olds?
You want to know something? You guys are looking at 4 years down the line. You're trying to do the Chelsea model.
Yeah, but I don't think Ange is going to be here 4 years down the line.
He'll be lucky if he's here 4 months down the line.
But those signings are for the
academy. Let Kate answer it, please.
I obviously said a joke about Ange being here for 4 months. Do you know what? The rumor is this kid is 19 and that it's going to be in the region of 35 to 50 million. For me, I think it's crap. I don't like this route. We need players that can walk into our team and make them better. Archie Gray looks decent. Whether he's better than what we've got, I don't know. Not convinced about this guy. You know, I'm finding all these links underwhelming. I don't know why we just don't go out and get Eze. You know, we was told this is our number one target. We're spending money, another 40 million if we get this other kid. It's going to eat into the budget for players like Eze. And yeah, it's for me, it's a bit underwhelming.
I think in terms of like outgoings, if Sessegnon and Ndombele have gone, Tanganga's gone to I think it's Millwall. Yeah. Now obviously Rodon's gone. Royale, according to Damasio, is going to be an AC Milan player by the end of next week. And I guess Gray can play back, can be a backup to Porro, and he's only 18. Like we're getting in 4 competitions next season. He could quite easily play 15 to 20 games with the Desiree Doué. Well, believe what you want to believe, but the likelihood is Solomon and Brian Hill will go, and then he comes in. But still, like we there's other positions we need. Like we need a striker. We need an out-and-out number 9.
This Desiree Doué, every time I say it now, I think of Desiree Doué. Apparently, he can play on both wings. He can play as a striker and a midfielder. So we all know that Ange likes a player that can be flexible and play multiple positions. So he does fit the mould. But it just all feels that little bit underwhelming to me when Arsenal are being linked to the likes of Calafiori and we're being linked to the likes of Archie Gray.
This is probably a good thing because you guys are not there yet where you're going to be looking to sign that final piece to the puzzle. So maybe spreading your money and getting a bunch of young players with scope to grow, and also at the same time going for some experience at the same time. Maybe you get an Ivan Toney come the end of the window. That could maybe make things a lot easier for you. But I don't think you should be upset at the quality that you're signing because right now you're not in the Champions League. You're in the Europa League. Also, your team, you need to sign so many different positions. You can't spend all your money in one. You need to spread it out a little bit because Tottenham are
they're quite expensive signings for youngsters. You know, Archie Gray was 40. This guy's sort of 35 to 50. I'm seeing all different reports. So,
but it's better. But it's better that you spend the money on them while they're young, and you can bring them in and nurture them, than have a situation where you're spending 100 million in 2 years' time for the same player. Right.
True.
So imagine, look at Crystal Palace. Look at a lot of other clubs. This is how clubs lower down the table survive by doing this. And maybe Tottenham need to stop thinking about trying to spend, and maybe look at getting good signings and using your recruitment. I think I welcome recruits doing their job. I don't necessarily.
I don't mind that as long as we bring in Eze as well. If we're choosing this over an Eze, then that's where there's a problem.
What if you get Ivan Toney? What if you get Ivan Toney?
It's going to be Jonathan David. That's who the striker we're going to bring in. I'm absolutely convinced. I think Toney, me personally, I think he ends up at Man United.
Do you guys want to see these sweets? Sorry, changing the subject a little bit. I want to see these sweets. I love the name of them, right? Look. Elephant. Hang on. Elephant. It says Elephant. I love it. Anyway, back to you lot.
So, what is it like? If he's not a Man United player, then maybe Chelsea. But I don't see Tottenham going and forking out 45, 50 million quid. I think we'll look at Jonathan David and go, well, he's available for 25 million euro. 1 year left, get him. If we bring in Doué, Eze, David. I mean, we're now talking about Pedro Neto as well. I mean, we was all told that it was only 120 million to spend. We're already 40 million quid down.
How come Ange doesn't use his sources in the Asian league and get some of those,
or even Matt O'Reilly from Celtic? Yeah, like, he could quite easily slot in and play a good role. Well, we got all these sources, but the Ali Golden Co are now reporting that we want young players, but that doesn't. That pathway doesn't go along with Ange, because Ange is what, 59. In 5 years' time, he's going to be looking at probably going back to international level.
Isn't it funny though? Isn't it funny you've got an Australian manager and you signed a player called Didgeridoo?
It's hilarious, but nobody's taking it in.
It's great, mate. It's amazing.
But I just want to know, what's your timeline, you guys think, to try to get back to being successful? Because if you're signing...
Well, Ange said within 2 to 3 years. If we're already a year down, you're talking to be what, as in challenging? Then that's a fairy.
Just having a team that's competitive. When I say competitive, I mean trying to go for the league and trying to go for something else.
Well, if we get the right signings in, we could be competitive in the Europa League. But are we going to do that? I don't know. That's Fugazi. That's fairy dust. That's a unicorn. Like for Tottenham to be where you are. I mean, it took Arsenal 4 years to really start competing for major honours, and 600 million quid. Are we going to give Ange 600 million quid and have good recruitment? I don't know.
It's not only that. It's, are we going to give Ange the time? Because if the results start a bit iffy in the new season and the fans start turning, Levy will pull the trigger. We all know it. I mean,
Ange is a winner.
Yeah, I agree. But I've had a bet with Jim that he won't last the season because I don't think he will. Yeah,
you think Ange is going to be sacked by the end of the year?
Yeah, I think he'd be lucky to make it to Christmas. But I don't want him to go.
So cutthroat. It's so cutthroat.
When did you guys become a sacking club? Like, I'm shocked.
When did we become such a loser club? You know, we used to be a successful club.
When did you win?
Years ago. That's what I'm saying. But years ago, the 80s, you know. I had Mickey Hazard on my show on Tuesday. He came on the show, and, you know, he used to win things all the time. But
he won the European UEFA Cup, Europa League.
The only time I'll be scared of Tottenham is if they get sold to a
question. Can I ask a question, Kate? When you say you think he's going to get sacked, could you explain why? Because I want to understand why you think he'll be gone by Christmas.
Because what tends to happen with Daniel Levy is if the results aren't going great, which if he doesn't get the backing, they're not going to. We saw the drop off last season. The fans start getting anxious. The Levy out chants start getting louder. Levy can't cope with it. So what does he do? Sacks the manager. He's done it for the last 20 odd years. It's just what he does. I hope I'm wrong. You know, people saying whatever about me. It's not because I want him to go. We need stability at the club. Like Man United, they need to stick with the manager and back them and let them build. But personally, I just don't see Levy doing that.